Friday night racing at Lone Star Park at Grand Prairie. I'm Jonathan Horowitz, filling in as the announcer for Jim Byers. Pleased to be sitting next to Rodney Nelson as we get set to go through an 11 race card beginning in 1 hour at 6:05. This is the final week of the 2022 season at Lone Star Park, as well as for horse racing in Texas. And we kicked it off last night, Rodney, with some really phenomenal races. The quarter horses, the Paints, the Appaloosas, the Arabians, almost had a quarter horse track record, historic Arabian Stakes races. I have some really good memories from last night.
Well, I'm glad that you were able to make some good memories out here. It was a fun night. We saw some good races. Those last two Arabian Stakes races on the card. I mean, especially the Open division. I mean, those horses were battling. We had one of the older horses versus one of the younger horses right there together, heads apart. It was a very exciting race, and hopefully tonight will be another good race night as well as we get ready to close out the season tomorrow. Had some long shots yesterday, so we have some carryovers in a couple of the pools. The pick 6 has a carryover, the pick 5, the super high 5 as well. So if you're one of those that likes to chase those carryovers, tonight is the night to play at Lone Star for sure.
It's a great night to be here. There's a lot of holiday parties that are out here tonight, and not only do we get to see the amazing fast horses, but the connections, the people, the trainers, the owners. Before we came out on set, we had a chance to talk to the trainer, Ernesto Torres, who won the big Open Stakes race, first and second with Diamond Gem AA and Quicksand AA, and it's just a great atmosphere here at Lone Star Park, and pleased to have the chance to be part of it. Well, you're only as good as your last winner,
That's
so
right.
let's help people find some winners in tonight's races. We have the one Arabian race to kick off the card, and then we have 10 quarter horse races over the straightaway. The Arabian race tonight, it's at 1 mile, same distance as the Arabian Stallion Stakes. Now, the Arabian Stallion Stakes had been rescheduled from Saturday night to last night, and so some of the horses that were entered back to run tonight and tomorrow, they went in the stakes race, so we do have some scratches out of the Arabian races tonight and tomorrow. It'll leave us with the 3-horse field to kick off the card. 1 mile allowance, non-winner or 2. What the race lacks in quantity, it makes up in quality. It's going to be a tactical race. So how did you see it shaping out, Rodney?
I took number 1, RB Billions. That's your current favorite right now. And it's probably going to be a favorite when the race goes off as well, I would imagine. RB Billions, 3 starts for this horse, all of them coming out here this year at Lone Star Park. The last race went around 2 turns. The horse was able to pick up the win in that one. The 2 races before that were both at 6 furlongs, solid seconds in both of those races. So, I mean, this horse has been in the exacta all 3 times. I think there's a lot to like about RB Billions. And then I got Ernesto Torres' other horse in here, Fleets Ace AA, as my second choice. Last time out, this horse ran 5th, but the races before that, I mean, has hit the board in all of them except for that last race. Doesn't have that win out here at Lone Star Park, but has hit the board in 4 of those 5. I think Fleets Ace AA can run big. And then it leaves me with Take a Chance as my third choice. I mean, process of elimination puts this horse in my picks for third. Did have a win earlier this year that came back at the end of August at Bally's Arapahoe. I'm sure you saw that one
I was
firsthand.
there for that, yeah.
So I'm interested to see how you had this race picked.
Well, maybe he'll hear my voice and go back to his winning ways. I saw race number 1, the same as you, the 3 horses showcasing 3 of the really big breeding operations for Arabian horses. Number 1, RB Billions, the Rosebrook Farm team. Number 5, Fleets Ace AA, Allegro Arabians. And number 4, AA Take a Chance for Altitude Arabians. So these are all 3-year-olds, young horses, some really good 3-year-olds in Arabian racing, particularly with Diamond Gem AA winning yesterday, RB Grand Slam finishing 3rd. So this will be a tactical 1-mile race to kick off the card. Then we get right into the quarter horses in race number 2, maiden special weight race in race number 2 at 350 yards. It's for 2-year-old fillies, and there's a field of 7 that goes to post.
Yeah, give me the 6 here in this spot. That's Divas Perry. Lightly raced horse, only 2 starts for Divas Perry. Now, this filly ran 3rd at first asking, missing by 3/4 of a length. Followed that back up with a second-place finish last time, also beaten by 3/4 of a length. This filly having those 2 starts over our track, and especially that last one running second at this 350-yard distance. If you look at the comment, it says awkwardly away. I think the horse gets out not awkwardly tonight, is going to win this race. Number 2, Great Expectations is going to be my second choice. I love horses making their second start in their career or their second start after a layoff. Great Expectations fits that bill right here. Last time out, was in one of the maiden trial races that we had out here. That was at 350 yards. Ran 7th in that one, but that was only the first start for this horse. John Steinbow, he definitely can send out some very good horses and has them ready to go most of the time. I think this horse gets up for 2nd. And then I took the 4, Trace My Fame, as my 3rd selection. First-time starter for Trey Wood. You got to respect his first-time starters that he sends out here. Oscar Andrade Jr., the jockey, is going to be riding this horse. He rode us a nice long shot last night that we saw I want to say in race number 8 or 9. The
9 Empty Promise, the one that almost
race.
won the track. I mean, that was a 19-1 shot.
Yes.
Running like an odds-on favorite, almost breaking the track record. So.
Yeah, it cost me my pick 4 last night, so I wasn't too happy with that. But I'll take Oscar Andrade to get up in the money with this Trey Wood horse here in race 2.
I went with number 3, Sassy Dancer, most experienced in the field, having had 10 previous starts. That sometimes can dissuade you from picking a maiden who's kind of been a maiden for a while, but I go back to Sassy Dancer's last straight maiden race here at Lone Star Park on October the 8th, subsequently ran in trial races, but was 7th out of the gate, close to finish 2nd, and at 9-2 odds. I think this is the type of race where there isn't necessarily one kind of hot maiden early in their career ready to kind of take it all. So it could be a chance for Sassy Dancer, after knocking on the door for so long early on in her career, to get that first career win. So that was a long shot potentially to look at. Maidens also in race number 3, Texas Breds, and it's 2-year-olds in a maiden claiming contest over 350 yards, and a big field of 10 to line up their 2 jockey changes. Number 7, Angelina's All That, now ridden by Julio Rodriguez. Number 9, JLC, Big Boy, is back to be ridden by Eric Garcia Alfaro. Big field to sort through in the 3rd.
Yeah, this 3rd one should be, pretty much any way you go. I mean, you could find a horse that you could get a price on. I went on number 2, Jetson, 7-2 morning line. This is a horse that we've seen out here a couple times so far this year. The first race out here over our surface wasn't the best. Finished 6th in that one. Was well beaten, but the most recent one was in for the $20,000 tag. Ran 4th in that race, but was only beaten by 3/4 of a length. I think dropping down now to $7,500. I mean, that's only going to help out Jetson here in this situation. So I'll go ahead and roll the dice and take this horse as my top choice over DD Mr. Bob. That's the number 3 horse. 2 starts back, this horse ran well for the 12-5 tag. That was against Texas Breds, just like we're going tonight. That was at 300 yards. Last time went at 400. Finished 4th in that race, but if you take a look at the one time this horse ran 350 that we're going tonight, was the first race out here at Lone Star Park for DD Mr. Bob. Ran a solid 3rd in that one after being close most of the way down the track. And then I got number 10, Pepsi Gray, on the far outside. This is a horse that I picked last time out. I remember ran 4th on me, beaten by 2. Horse stumbled at the gate at the start. I think with a better start, Pepsi Gray can get up and finish in the mix tonight for sure.
For me, it's the horse that you picked in 4th place that I actually liked first, number 6, CRB Bebo. And I just feel like this is a good spot for the horse. Has been in a few different maiden claiming ranks, but then last time out found the state-bred maiden claiming 7,500, beaten just ahead at 7-1 odds with Raul Ramirez Jr. aboard, who's winning at a good percentage. So I just feel very comfortable with the spot that CRB Bebo is in, and I'm giving him the chance as my top pick in this 3rd race. Race number 4 is a $25,000 claiming race, so high claiming price, 250-yard sprint for the 4th race. These are some good claimers, some good recent winners, some coming off of claims. Where did you land in this 4th race?
I'm on Coronado Dreams, the 7 here. I think
as am I, yeah.
I think this is the horse to beat here in race number 4. I mean, it's a pretty big field, but Coronado Dreams, I mean, this horse put together back-to-back wins, both of them coming out here. The most recent one was at 250 yards, so you got to like that. This horse has had a great 2022. I mean, has won twice, has a 2nd and a 3rd as well. If you look back to last year, this horse had a pretty good, in 2020, this horse had a win out here on our track. Out of the 7 times this horse has been at Lone Star, has won 3 of them. Has a win at the distance, a 2nd at the distance as well. Coronado Dreams, this is my horse here in race number 4. Over to number 8, Pool Doll is going to be my second choice. 12-1 morning line, so taking a little bit of a shot at this one. The last two races for Pool Doll has finished 3rd in both of them, just beaten by 3/4 in both of those races. 2 back was at this 250-yard distance, so the horse does have some experience. Broke well that night, so we'll see what happens with Pool Doll. This one could get up at a decent price. And then number 4, Stolen Homebrew is going to be my third pick here. The last 4 races, this horse has a win, a couple seconds by a nose and a head, and then one I'm just going to kind of draw a line through. Question is this horse is coming from Oklahoma. For Will Rogers last time out, had a pretty good year at Remington Park, breaking that maiden up there this year, but I don't know. Some of these horses coming down from Oklahoma this year haven't been performing the best out here on our track. Not like the ones coming from New Mexico. I've been high on those all year long. But we'll see what happens. Matt Whitekeeler, definitely a solid trainer. He can win some races. There's no doubt about it. We'll see what Stolen Homebrew can do tonight.
I was with you with Coronado Dream. The horse just breaks like a flash, and at 250 yards, that's really what you need. Coronado Dream, she's definitely figured out what she's supposed to do, likes getting out of the gate. I gave a shot for second to Justice, coming off a win and being claimed for $12,500. So it's going to be a bit of a tougher task doubling the claiming price, but a horse coming off a win that the connections were confident enough to make that big investment. So that's race number 4 at 250 yards. Race 5 also at 250 yards. It's a maiden claiming contest, and there's a field of 9 lining up. And did you go with a long shot, or did you go with one of the favorites for this race?
I'm with one of the short prices here. I went with the one on the outside, Bogart's Victress. This horse went at 250 last time out. That was against us. It was in a straight maiden race. I mean, finished 5th in that one. This horse is coming down here for the tag today. Has run for a claiming price one time in his career. A couple times in his career. Most recent one was 2 starts back, but I think that distance was a little bit too long for the horse. That was at 400 yards. Moving back to 250, I think, is where this horse has a good chance to win. So I got the 9 on top. Over 8, Moonstone is going to be my second selection here. Last time out, this horse had a race over our surface at 350. I'm kind of rolling the dice with this one. Back at Prairie Meadows this year, and at Will Rogers, I mean, the horse you can see at that call right before the end was right there within a neck or a head in most of those races. So at 250, I think that's a good spot for this horse to be. We'll see if Moonstones maybe can't like Jim Byers like to talk about the drag from the horses right next to him. Maybe Bogart's Victress will pull Moonstone right up there to the finish line with him.
The horses like something to run at.
Yeah, right? So I'll go ahead and take Moonstone second, and then I got the number 6, DM Dreaming Big, as my third choice. I mean, this horse had a solid effort last time out at Evangeline Downs. Ended up third in that race, missing just by a half a length. Had a race over our surface before that. Wasn't the best race. That came at 400. So the drop in distance, I think, is going to help out DM Dreaming Big as well.
I went with a long shot, number 7, Spieth, and I almost didn't know what to do with that horse because last time out, first start at Lone Star Park, really impressive. Finished second, beaten just a half a length. Now it was at 550 yards, and I'm kind of scratching my head. What do you do with shortening up from 550 to 250? I mean, I'll give some trust in the connections that's the right thing to do. But you didn't have the horse in your top 4. I just, it was one of those horses that I think could win off of that last performance, but also could not really be suited for this distance. So I really didn't know what to do, but I thought, okay, 8-1 maybe worth a try.
Well, I think you had a pretty good winner last night. There was a 6 horse. I think it was a Toby Keaton trained horse that I think I had it picked down on my picks. You had it picked on top. And
well,
sure won,
but then you had some pretty good ones too. So between the two of us, we're going to get it right.
That's right. We're going to play a ticket together tonight.
Well, there are carryovers, like you said, and as we get into the second half of the card, race number 6 starts the pick 6, carryover of over $440 and kicking things off with a 2-year-old maiden claiming race at 350 yards in race number 6 that now sees a field of 9 after the scratch of number 1, Nomo Corona.
So I'm taking a long shot here in race number 6. I got number 6, Ivan's Arctica Rain, as my top choice here. Last time out, this horse had a solid 4th place finish, was beaten by 2 lengths. There was a next out winner that finished 3rd in that race. Now, the race before that also came out here at Lone Star Park. That one was at 250 and put in a good effort in that one as well, running 3rd, missing by 3/4 of a length. I think those last 2 races, one at 250, one at 400. So we're going to go 350 right here, right in between those, or somewhat in between those. We'll see if this 12-1 horse can't get up and do some good things here. I think the favorite is Werner. Can be beaten in this situation. That is JC Wild Whiskey. I do have the horse.
I'll take Vulnerable for 200.
Yeah, now, JC Wild Whiskey, I think it can run big in this situation, but it's been off since August. I don't necessarily like horses making their first start after a layoff. Up at Remington this year, the horse had a solid third. At 330, so that's not much difference from 330 to 350. But I would like to have seen one more race, or at least a workout from that August race until now. But I do have JC Wild Whiskey second. And then I take number 10, Bogart Runner, as my third choice. First time starter right here. These horses by Bogart this year, it seems like they've had some pretty good winners out here at Lone Star at a pretty decent price. First time gelding. Lasix for the first time. First time starter. Let's see what happens with the 10. Maybe this horse can get up at some good odds. And you know what? If it comes in 6, 9, 10, that's a pretty nice trifecta.
Yeah, this is a race that I think is suited for a long shot, and my long shot was number 2, Apolitical Dancer. First off, a claim for $7,500 coming from Oklahoma to Texas, and had been running in higher claiming prices in Oklahoma and Iowa. Been in the frame to some degree, and 12-1 definitely looked like an attractive price. And then number 8, Easy Check, Yes or No, at the 4-1 morning line, coming off a really strong second place finish in just a nose last time out. So, between the two of us, I think we highlighted maybe 6 or 7 different horses. So this is a very wide open race to kick off your pick 6. If the pick 6 may not be going your way through the first leg, well, there's a pick 5 starting in race number 7 with a good-sized carryover of almost $3,500, and a lot of 2-year-old races this evening. These are 2-year-old colts and geldings in a maiden special weight race at 350 yards. And who did you go with for this race?
I've got number 6, AP Scout, 6-5 morning line favorite here. When you see Ricky Ramirez's name in the book and he comes in to ride,
he's coming in for
one
a reason.
Horse,
yeah,
he usually does fairly well if he comes in to ride to go one and done. Especially this horse trained by Trey Wood, was a second place finisher last time out in a maiden race. That was at 400 yards. The horse was up there close, so I think the drop in distance is going to help out. This horse had a couple second place finishes. I had one at Ruidoso earlier this year. So a trial horse, 2 of them at Ruidoso. One of them here for the Texas Classic was a trial. Got beat by One Perfect Lady in that one, who was the winner of the Dash for Cash Futurity. I think that was a very solid trial race out here. I think AP Scout gets the job done here in race 7. Cheyenne Temptation, the 2, is my second choice here. 2 out of the last 3, this horse has run second by a neck and a nose, trained by Toby Keaton. Raul Ramirez up tonight. Definitely one to watch. And then number 7, Fire the Politicians, is my third choice. Ended up being placed second last time out. That was in one of the maiden trials that we had out here for the finals are going to be tomorrow, the Stallion E-Search maiden championship. Fire the Politicians, those last 2 races, both of them pretty decent, both of them coming out here at Lone Star Park. We'll see if the 7 Fire the Politicians can't get up and hit the board.
AP Scout, we're in agreement as the straight trifecta shows on the screen, but yeah, Ricky Ramirez coming in second in a maiden race is a 4-5 favorite, and then the winner of that race going on to win his next race. AP Scout's really due for a win. Really like the breeding on this horse, the connections, Trey Wood, Ricky Ramirez. I don't think you'll get too high of a price on AP Scout, but this is one of those, if you're playing the pick 5 or the pick 6, I would circle that one as my single probably of the evening. Race number 8 sees a 250-yard maiden claiming race with a field of 8 to go to post, kicking off the final pick 4 of the night.
Yeah, this is our third 250 race of the night, so if they would have put them all in order, I would have felt good for the gate crew, giving them some races off, not having to do much. But one race in between, but 250 here again. I like number 4, Jingo, here in this spot. Jingo has quite a bit of experience. 0 for 9. Don't really like 0 for 9, but the horse does have a couple third-place finishes out here on our track. Last time out was one of those third-place finishes. The horse said fractious in the gate, bobbled as well. I think if the horse gets that figured out, it's going to be a pretty nice run for Jingo tonight. Number 1, Apolitical James, is going to be my second choice. This is a horse, I think Rick Lee has this horse picked as like his long shot or his best bet of the day, or Lee's Lock, I think is what he calls it. I'm not so sure about it. I'm not too happy about drawing the 1 hole. Down on the inside rail, sometimes it gets a little bit tough out there. This horse has had a ton of experience. 0 for 12. That's worse than 0 for 9 for you math guys out there, or non-math guys out there. Coming in from Canterbury, that's a pretty good trek coming from Minnesota down here to Texas. But hey, he's going to like the weather tonight. It's cool outside, so should feel right at home. I do have Political James second. A third last time, second by a head the race before that. hasn't hit the board at the 250-yard distance, so we'll see if that can't change tonight. And then I got number 8, Ready Go, as my third choice here. This is a horse that's finished third back-to-back races. Two back, just missed by a neck. Both of those were at 400 yards, so this horse is taking a drop in distance as well tonight. We'll see if she can't, do well at 250 at her first time running the distance.
For me, it was also between Apolitical James, the morning line favorite, number 1, and number 4, Jingo. And I did like the fact that Jingo's kind of been here and running some solid races and taking that drop from maiden special weight to maiden claiming. And Apolitical James could, coming from Minnesota, off of some good performances in Minnesota, but I just kind of want to see a little bit more out here at Lone Star, and I felt that Jingo was the more proven horse over the track. And then I thought maybe the first-time starter to get into the mix, Connections, Heath Lawrence, first horse that Heath is training here this season. Brooke Lawrence, the owner, and this is a Washington bred, so an interesting first-time starter who's 30-1 on the morning line that I thought may have a chance to get in the frame in race number 8. Race number 9, maiden special weight at 350 yards for 2-year-old Colts and Geldings, a horse looking for his first career win. Happens to be a horse that qualified for the Challenge Juvenile Championship. That's who I put on top, no doubt, having made those finals on Challenge Championship night and now coming back to maiden ranks. On the other hand, for you, you're going to go with the angle of Futurity Trial back to the maiden ranks.
That's right. I like Jess High LBH here. That one start for the horse was in one of those Futurity Trials at Evangeline Downs. Ran 6th in that race, was beaten by 3/4 of a length. That's not a very big margin at 400 yards.
Exactly.
And if you look at the horses that were in that race, One Fine V was the winner of that one. One Fine V won the Firecracker Futurity this year at Delta Downs, ran 3rd in the Heritage Place Futurity at Remington Park, so definitely some solid races there. The second place finisher in that trial race, Ticket to the Dance, was in the Dash for Cash Futurity out here. So that was a pretty good race. Jess High LBH went off at almost 46-1 in that race, 2-1 in this race tonight against Maiden Company. I'm going to go ahead and take a chance on Jess High LBH. I think after that last race, this horse has shown that he can run with some of the big boys, and we'll see if this horse can't do well tonight. Number 3, Genuine Revenant, my second choice. 3 races for this horse. Last 2 coming at Will Rogers. Ran decent in both of those. Finished 2nd, 2 back, a 3rd last time out. And then I got No Doubt as my third choice here, coming off of that Juvenile Challenge race at Horseshoe, Indianapolis. Finished last, or 10th, crossed the finish line 10th, got elevated to 9th. So a little bit of good luck there, I guess. But this horse has had some trouble at the gate in a couple of those races. She got shut off last time. It wasn't his fault, though. But then 3 starts back, stumbled at the gate as well. We'll see what happens with No Doubt.
Yeah, I just like No Doubts, going from the challenge races, the tough competition, facing maidens. But I'm with you as well with Jess High LBH coming off of that Futurity Trial. Then you got Genuine Revenant, who's been comfortable and performing at this level. But I think those horses that are coming off a tougher competition are going to find that this race could suit them to potentially get their first career win. To the 10th race, and we do have a scratch of number 8, Jess, a PYC Dash, and that will now leave a field of 7 2-year-olds again. The young horses featured in, I think, about half of the races, and this is a non-winners of 2 allowance race at 350 yards. Now, with that late scratch, that was my top choice, Jess, a PYC Dash, so now I'm going with number 6, Flash and Dash, and we're both in agreement on that recent maiden winner.
Well, the 6 was my top choice at the get-go, so you scratched into a winner, I'm going to tell you that.
As long as I'm on the same page as you, I'm doing
Flash
the right
and
thing.
Dash. The horse was a winner last time out at 250. Race before that at 350. Ran a good one. Ran 3rd of that race, missing by half a length. You got to like that. The race before that at 250 at Retama Park just missed by a nose. I think this horse is fast, can get out of the gate and lead it quickly in the race. It can show some speed. I think Flash and Dash gets it done tonight. Number 3, Maxed Out 2 is going to be my second choice here. Came out of some races at Zia Park the last 2. We saw this horse at Lone Star earlier this year. Finished 5th in that race. That was a non-winners of 2 allowance. Only beaten by a length. Sexton was the winner of that one. Sexton ended up qualifying for one of our big races. Trained by Brad Bolin. He's sent out some good horses this year. And I've been high on those horses coming from New Mexico out here to Lone Star. We'll see if Maxed Out 2 can get the job done. And then number 1, Chevelle, is going to be my third choice. I mean, this horse was a winner 2 back, broke that maiden at 350 yards. That was the same race that Flash and Dash came out of. I think Chevelle, it's decent odds. I mean, 6-1 on this one is probably worth a wager to me. I think this horse could definitely get up and finish well here in race number 10.
There's a reason why Toby Geaton is the leading trainer. It's not just getting the horses in the prime condition, but it's also picking your spots.
Yes.
And the progression of Flash and Dash early on in her career. They did try the futurity trial races in Houston and then didn't do so well in a maiden claiming race. So they gave the horse some time off, and that time off from May to August definitely suited, returned at Retama Park, and the 3 most recent starts for Flash and Dash have been a first, a second, and a third. So just giving those young horses a little bit of time to mature definitely paid dividends with Flash and Dash. Now, my second pick is Sassy Dynasty, another horse that I thought benefited with some progression from futurity trial races early on in the year. First maiden race that the horse ran in, got the win, was the even money favorite. I think can build some confidence off of that. And then number 4, Here for the Check, is another horse that I thought has been improving steadily and got that maiden win last time out as a favorite as well, now taking on winners for the first time. So we're both in agreement with Flash and Dash, but who we have in the exotics, I think, could potentially lead to some big payouts in a potentially wide open race. Maybe not so much for the win, but maybe for the placings in the trifecta, exacta, and superfecta. To the 11th and final race with 3 scratches out of a field of 10, now leaving 7 to go to post. We scratch number 7, Famous for My Kisses, number 8, Runaway the Eagle, and number 9, Good Reason for Cash. And this is the classic quarter horse distance of 440 yards, allowance non-winners of 2 to close out the card. And I'm really looking forward to this race to close out the card. I love the 440-yard quarter horse races.
Yeah, you got to love these classic quarter-mile distance races. I got Frozen here. That's the number 2 horse. Frozen's probably what I'm going to be at 10:45 tonight. It's a little cool out here. But this horse, I think, can have a good run. I mean, last time out showed that this horse ran well at 550 yards here on our track. Finished second behind a next out winner. That was in an non-winners of 2 allowance race. So, I mean, basically going the same thing tonight, but just cutting 110 yards off. Back to 440. This horse has run the 440 3 different times. Has a second place finish to show for it. Wesley Giles, the trainer, Adrian Ramos, man, these guys teamed up a few weeks ago for the trials and pretty much won everything that they were a part of together. I think Frozen can pick up that win tonight. Number 10, Wasp on the far outside. That's going to be my second choice here. You know, I'm going to overlook that last one. The horse stumbled at the start, finished 10th in that race. Before that, ran 9th. I mean, this horse has had a lot of trouble. If you look through the comments here in my program, you see that little dark arrow indicating significant trouble. Probably more often than not, this horse has got into some trouble, whether it's his fault or someone else's fault. But when the horse is able to run clean, I think this horse can run well. Spent some time out at Los Alamitos this year. Had some good races out there. Picked up that maiden-breaking win at Los Al. We'll see what happens. I mean, coming from Ruidoso, 2 starts back. We'll see if that translates and this horse can't have a better run tonight. That's the 10, Wasp. And then the 6, Volcom's Favorite's going to be my third choice to wrap up the card tonight. Last time out was in a Derby trial at Will Rogers. Finished 7th in that race. Was bumped in that one. But the race before that, right out here at Lone Star at 350 yards, non-winners of 2 allowance. Ran a good second, missing by a head in that one. And then if you look back earlier this year, broke his maiden in July at Ruidoso Downs. Volcom's Favorite could be one to watch here for J.J. Gonzalez.
Frozen was the top pick for me as well. And, yeah, love the connections, love the performance in the 550-yard race. So likes a little bit of distance, does Frozen. And then Volcom's Favorite I also have in there. Fly Donna Fly, your 4th pick, I have in the trifecta, having done well in open allowance with a stakes quality field at Bally's Arapahoe Park at the end of their season, now coming here to Texas. And then at 30-1 on the inside, number 1, Bogart's Flash, ran at 870 yards to break the maiden, but won by 5 lengths. And I always feel like if you win a quarter horse race by 5 lengths, you're doing something right.
Right.
So this race has the jackpot super high five, and there's a carryover of $3,600. So this could be a cool race to potentially play that high five bet, because there are 7 horses and there's a big carryover. So I think it's a hittable race, but at the same time, if it does carry over to tomorrow, we'll have mandatory payouts in the exotics. So those are enticing opportunities to close out the 2022 season. So we'll get back to the action with the national anthem coming up. We'll go through changes. Rodney will be in the paddock throughout the night to hope you land a few winners. Hope it's a great day, and thank you for spending your holidays with us here at Lone Star Park at Grand Prairie.
First home here at Lone Star Park.